Evening, everyone. We're starting our meeting for Wednesday, June 2nd. If you would join us in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty.
Thank you. Welcome to everyone who is live streaming with us. We have no emergency additions or modifications this evening. So do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
Jane? Aye. That passes 5-0. A motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 12th, May 3rd, and April 20th. I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Oh, I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane? Aye. That passes 5-0. We get to our exciting part, our OUSD Value Awards. Tonight, we're recognizing 2 students, one for environmental stewardship, creating an inclusive culture. Actually, they're both for creating inclusive cultures. So I'm going to introduce Laura Wheeler, who's the teacher of our Miners Oaks second grader, Henry. Is it Sites?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Wheeler, second grade teacher at Miners Oaks Elementary. And hi, Henry. And I'm so happy to be able to speak about my amazing student, Henry Sites. When our staff was asked to nominate a student who embodies one of our Ojai Unified values, Henry's name came up from multiple staff members who all agreed on how terrific Henry is. When Ms. Dutter asked me which of the values Henry should receive the award for, I actually asked, do I need to choose one? Because Henry is an excellent role model in all areas. First of all, Henry exemplifies wellness in both mind and body. Not only does Henry keep active on the playground, he's a mountain biker, hiker, and enjoys many different outdoor activities. Henry also does a great job using all of the toolbox tools that he's learned at school to help with the social and emotional aspects of life, even during the most challenging times he's encountered this year. And we've had a few. Henry shows environmental stewardship through his love of nature and his commitment to our Miners Oaks Green School daily mottos. And last, but definitely not least, Henry is the most inclusive, friendly, and kind student that I've known in the past 2 years. I was fortunate enough to have Henry as a first grader, as well as this year for second grade. Henry is well known throughout our campus by kids and adults for his outgoing, genuinely kind personality. Henry is well liked and has many friends, but what stands out is that he never lets that interfere with his positive, welcoming attitude toward people he does not know well. Henry is always ready to talk to new students or to kids who need help, no matter who they are. This is where Henry is an exceptional example for other students and the adults he encounters each day. So Henry, I'm so proud of the fine person you are. Keep being awesome.
Would you like to say something, Henry?
Thank you for giving me this award. It is very special.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And I would also like to chime in too, because as Henry's principal, I echo everything that Mrs. Wheeler said. And I'd also like to give a little shout out to Henry's little sister, Hazel, because it's her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Hazel.
Birthday, Hazel.
And
Happy
Henry,
birthday.
you receive $50 for yourself and $50 to donate to a nonprofit. Do you want to tell us who it's donated to?
The Little Farm of Ojai.
Great. Thank you.
Great
Congratulations.
job, Henry.
And
That's great.
we are also giving out a inclusive award, Rotary's Peace Ambassador Award, to our chaparral 11th grade student, Ben Stozel. And I believe our principal, Javier Ramirez, is here to talk about Ben.
Yes, hi everybody. So unfortunately though, Ben wasn't able to be here this evening. But you know, he's come a long ways at Chaparral. We got him at the beginning of the school year after having a sort of a rough beginning. He really has changed dramatically, his attitude, his demeanor, just everything about him. You know, that's really what we want to see on a kid, see him grow in a positive way. And Ben definitely exemplifies what we look at for students at Chaparral to take advantage of the opportunities that we provide. So here are some of the thoughts from our staff members in regards to Ben. One staff member said, Ben is very inquisitive and curious. He's always looking for new opportunities to learn. He's ready and willing to help anyone at the drop of a hat. Ben's attitude and effort are always great. Ben is inspiring to work with. He's kind and considerate, always thinking of others. Ben works hard towards his academic goals and never, ever gives up. Another staff member said, Ben has shown how to be a good example. And I really like this. I think this pretty much summarizes Ben. Ben has shown to be a good example of how to change from being unproductive to being productive and earning his credits. Ben has made a powerful choice for himself when he decided to make education his priority. And last, finally, another staff member said, Ben shows friendliness and respect on a daily basis. He always inquires as to how we are doing and shows genuine concern about our well-being and personal interests. Ben is very...
Could you stop for just a second? I think that, okay, you got it, Tiffany. Thank you. Go ahead, Javier.
Got it? Okay. And the last one, again, thoughts from our staff members. Ben didn't shy away from speaking up in class to express his opinion, but would also always try to listen to the ideas of others. He would make suggestions for how others could be included in school activities. So congratulations to Ben. Again, I'm just bummed that he wasn't able to be here to listen to the wonderful things and all the great input from the staff. And they would really appreciate having him there because he's a leader on our campus and he really personifies what we look for in every student. And that is they come in, you know, probably with a little bit of a rough start, but once they really figure out their path and really make education a priority, they just take off. And Ben is one of those kids. So congratulations, Ben. And I hope everything turns out okay. So.
Thank you. And we did not hear from Ben what he had chosen for his nonprofit, but I'm sure maybe by the time we post our meeting.
As a matter of fact, I talked to Mom a couple of hours ago and she said that they are going to choose the Humane Society.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, we are on to our Kindness and Friendship Awards. And we always choose a school, and the school this evening is Topa Topa. And I believe we have 2 students that are being recognized today. And Dawn, are you going to introduce everyone or shall I start with Christy Thatcher?
Sorry, Jane. I can start. First up, we'll have Christy Thatcher, and she's going to talk about 2 of her students for us.
Hello, I'm Christy Thatcher, and I am a teacher at Topa Topa. And when I got the email about needing 2 students that were would qualify for the Kindness Award, I couldn't help thinking about 2 amazing students that I've been lucky enough to have for the last 4 years, and that is Emmett Archer and Jackson Terse. There's Emmett. So Emmett just embodies what it is to be kind. He is an inclusive friend to his peers and classmates. He is very helpful to younger students. And he's always got a big, well, not always right now, Emmett, he's always got a big smile on his face. There it is. And he just couldn't be, you couldn't find a kinder soul than Emmett. And then his partner in crime here is Jackson Terse. And again, Jackson just embodies everything kind. He's always concerned about if a staff member's not there that day, he's always concerned that they're okay. He's if another student is upset, Jackson's the first one over there to make sure that that person is okay, or if someone gets hurt. So they, like I said, they are both very inclusive with the younger students. They are the older students now, so they've been very good role models. And I just know that the world is a better place having these boys in it. So I'm very thankful to have been their teacher for the last several years. And I'm just so proud of them. So congratulations, guys.
Would either of you like to say anything?
I would like to say something. Me too.
Okay, Emma, you go first.
I would like to thank all my teachers that take care of me, and as well as my parents, including my mom.
You're so sweet.
And I also like to give a big thank you to Miss Damianos for helping me show me around for the school.
Jackson, too.
Jackson, you can speak.
I told you he was kind. Go ahead, Jackson.
So I want to thank Miss Thatcher for giving me this award, and I just want to thank Miss Damianos for choosing me about the kindness award.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. And Dawn, we have a teacher to honor today too, yes?
We do. I'd like to talk about Jennifer Hankins. So I asked staff to say a few things about Jennifer Hankins, and I pulled keywords from what they said about her. Here's how they describe her: thoughtful, kind, generous, supportive, positive, someone you can count on, approaches things with a kind heart, thinks of students, supports students, concerned for students and their well-being and success. Jennifer is there for others, kind, loving, and respectful with students. She notices those needing a little more TLC or support. She speaks calmly and softly. She's kind and thoughtful, goes the extra mile, always looking for the bright spark in her students, celebrates student achievements wholeheartedly, excellent team player and co-worker, makes others feel welcome, calm and sweet demeanor in and outside of the classroom, cares deeply for students, sweet to everyone. After hearing all of her wonderful qualities, some of you might be thinking about stealing her from Topa Topa. Well, I'm not going to let you do that. Jennifer Hankins exemplifies the demeanor, qualities, and spirit of how we should be as people in schools. I am blessed to work with her and have her on staff. Congratulations, Jennifer, on this recognition. It is well deserved. And Jennifer, I'm sure, is just grateful for the award. So if you just want to say thank you and we can move on. Jennifer, we don't have a lot of time, so I won't let you talk a lot. How's that?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just that was all such nice things that people said about me. I so appreciate everyone, and I'm so lucky to work with everyone at Topa Topa and in the whole district. And I'm just so honored for this award. Thank you again, everyone.
Congratulations, Jennifer and Jackson and Emmett. We move on to our OUSD volunteer recognition. And this evening we are recognizing our Student Advisory Council who have volunteered since September, which means monthly meetings. It means reading through minutes. It means often an extra meeting with the principal at Matilaha. So it's really an amazing thing that each of them have done. We have 8 members of our student advisory. Unfortunately, one has a basketball game, another one is, and I think the other 2 are working. So not everyone is here tonight, but I do want to recognize our seniors, Colby Fink and Sophie Massey, our juniors, Elizabeth Rosales and Sophia Morano Boyd Barrett, our sophomores, Ella Ruff and Emily Michi, and our freshmen, Bridget Griffin and Emmett Paulson. You guys have really done, I'm sorry, Emma, I said your last name wrong, Poltney. It's really a treat for the board members to have your voice. And I know this year was a particularly difficult year. We weren't meeting in person. You weren't on campus until after spring break in terms of trying to help students have a voice at the district level. But I want you to know that you had an impact. And I hope those of you who are going to be at Nordhoff next year will consider serving another year. And I don't know if other board members would like to say something before we give you each a turn to say hello.
If I might, I just want to, I don't want to talk a lot, but I just want to say that I know this is a huge time commitment to when you have the least amount of time. And the participation and the contributions from all of you have been so professional and so on target that if you are representatives of your student bodies should be proud. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time. If you're staying with us, not graduating, think about what Jane said, stick with it.
I'll just say briefly, sorry, I have to come in and out. I'm trying to conserve my battery. But thanks very much, you guys. You know, having your independent, sometimes courageous, always, as Mike said, spot on input is what it's all about. It's what public engagement is at its best. So thank you for putting in the time, and thank you for being willing to do it, and for taking stands. Thanks.
Shelley or Rebecca, anything?
I'll just chime in and say thank you to all of you for your time.
Yeah, I appreciate the time and the input. It's always great to hear the student voice and like to really know how things are impacting you guys. So it's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Great. Do any of you want to do you want me to call on you individually, or I can start with any, or you can raise your hand if you want to say something. Emily?
I would just say thank you so much for the opportunity. I really enjoyed being a part of SAC this year. I have learned a lot, and I really do hope to continue next year. So thank you again.
Colby, I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, Jane, for starting this a few years ago. I'm glad this is my second year. And yeah, like Emily said, I've learned a lot from this. And I don't know, just thank you guys for the opportunity.
Bridget?
I wasn't planning on doing this at the beginning of the year, and eventually they didn't really have any freshmen, so I just decided to do it. And I just want to say thanks to keep pushing and like saying we need freshmen, because I'm really glad that I did this, and I can't wait to maybe do it again next year. It's been really helpful to learn about all of this. So thank you.
Emma, you want to just say hello at least, since we have everyone else has said hello?
Yeah, thank you again for the opportunity. Again, like Bridget, I wasn't planning on doing it, but I'm so glad that I did decide to join, as I've learned a lot, and it's been really nice to have sort of a, I guess, inside look on what actually goes on behind the board meetings and everything.
Thank you all so very much. And hopefully we'll have a little time in the next week or so to get together for a coffee or something. And thank you to everyone who came tonight for our value awards and our kindness awards. So I know everyone has other things to do at home, and we appreciate your joining us. So if you would like to sign off and say goodnight, we understand. Night. We will be moving on to our general public comments. I do have 2 public comments, a little lengthy, so bear with me. I hope my reading is okay this evening. The first one is from Darius Lange. As an IT professional for a nonprofit that supports just under 15,000 people across 3 counties, I understand the importance of an organization being transparent and including stakeholders in decision making. For example, if organizations reach out to their stakeholders and include them in the process, then even if the decision did not go in the desired direction, the people who are affected still feel heard. OHI's Parent Advisory Committee PAC agreement was to meet with district leadership at least once per month. Since the peaceful parent protest advocating for students to return to campus, the district has canceled all PAC meetings. Excuse me, I'm just setting the timer here. I forgot to do that. In March and April, and then dissolved the group after the retreat on April 21st without public notice. What is the Parent Advisory Committee? It is part of this board policy LCAP Accountability Plan 460. Parent Advisory Committee and English Learner Parent Advisory Committee established pursuant to Education Code 52063 to review and comment on the local control and accountability plan. A Parent Advisory Committee shall include parents or legal guardians of pupils to whom one or more of the definitions in section 42238.01 apply. Parent Advisory Committee is not subject to Brown Act requirements. Not subject to Brown Act allows the PAC to receive anonymous parent feedback while protecting stakeholders from retaliation. What is LCAP and why does it matter? Local control accountability plan is in place to ensure that all members of the school district, students, teachers, administration, board members, and parents have a voice in what the district plans to do to support student outcomes. LCAP is mandated by state law and is directly linked to the bulk of state funding for Ojai Unified School District. The Parent Advisory Board is part of Board of Directors accountability policy and outlined in the district LCAP contract. We believe the district and this board are in breach of the contract and standard board policy. I am helping a group of stakeholders to facilitate a petition to this board, district, and California Department of Education. All parents of students enrolled in OUSD are welcome to join. Our second comment is from, I think I wrote her name down here. Let me move over here. Sorry about that. It's from Rachel Tenick. And it's also about the local control and accountability. Sorry.
Jane, would you like me to set a timer?
Got it. Sorry. Local control and accountability plan, a critical plan that designates a new local control funding formula. Each school district must engage parents, educators, employees, and the community to establish these plans. The plan focuses on 8 areas identified as California state priorities. The plan demonstrates how the district budget will achieve these goals. 8 priorities include student access to fully credentialed teachers and administrators, implementation of California academic standards, parent involvement and participation so local community is engaged in decision-making process and education programs of students, improving student achievement and outcomes along multiple measures, including test scores, English proficiency, and college career preparedness. Support student engagement, highlight school climate connectedness, ensuring all students have access to classes that prepare them for college career, and number 8, measuring student outcomes related to areas of study, including physical education and the arts. Ojai LCAP agreement is expired. Like other California state education mandated contracts, the most recent LCAP agreement must stand binding until a new one is instated, just like an expired IEP stands until a new one is signed and authorized. Ojai's LCAP identifies Parent Advisory Committee as an entity which the parents' voice have a direct dialogue with the district and the board. This direct back and forth dialogue is defined in the Ojai LCAP. PAC meetings have been canceled by the district since March 2021 and was dissolved by the district without public notice. Without adhering to the most recent LCAP agreement, I contend that all actions that have been approved by the board proposed by the district, including employee terminations, employee restructuring, and funding the expansion of administration positions are null and void until legally binding LCAP stakeholder representation, PAC, is restored. LCAP states that there needs to be a parent dialogue in some form when making these district decisions. Public comment does not replace the PAC dialogue component outlined in the LCAP agreement. Parent surveys are not a direct dialogue and have not been a direct conduit to parents' voice on budgetary appropriation issues, including staffing. Therefore, the board should resend and readdress all action items that were made during this time period without PAC in place in an emergency meeting and with PAC involvement on action items. Of note, the teachers union formally expressed concern about leadership changes during the recent May board meeting. PAC should have had a voice as well. Thank you. Our next item is 4.2, which is employee union comments. We'll first hear from Angie Janassi, who's our OFT president. Hi, Angie.
Hi, everyone. You mixed it up this time. You put me first. That did not go unnoticed. I love it. Well, tonight I want to thank you for welcoming the Ohio Federation of Teachers to comment regularly at your board meetings. While I know that this is not the last meeting for the fiscal year, it will be my last meeting as the Ohio Federation of Teachers president. I am stepping down, and we have elected Jake Hansen to replace me. So, and I will be out of town on June 16th. So I won't be able to speak at that meeting and say goodbye to all of you. I did want to thank everyone. I know I'm speaking for the Federation when I'm here, but right now I'm just going to speak for myself. I have been speaking at these board meetings and the board meetings for 5 years. And when I first started, I was terrified just even to sit at a board meeting and take notes. And I knew I should always be speaking. And I just never knew what to say. And my goodness, look at how far I've come, right? I'm very comfortable speaking and always saying something you probably don't want to hear. So, but I wanted to thank all of you because it is your openness, your warm smiles when I was terrified, and your generous listening. And just I have to tell people, you know, that coming to board meetings is not the worst thing in the world. And speaking at a board meeting is actually quite fun because I can look out at all of you and you are always smiling at me. And even when my voice is shaking, you have certainly given me that it's okay, Angie, look, Michael, you're really good at that. Thank you so much. And I will be letting Jake know this so that he doesn't have to worry quite so much when he comes and speaks to all of you. I think I want to let you know, I have really appreciated this relationship. And I think it has been to the benefit of our membership. And I hope that it continues in the future because I do know that you listen to our concerns and you take them in and are not, I don't think I've ever felt a flippant comment or an angry word or anything that made me walk away going, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that board. And 5 years now, and I've never felt that. So I feel that we're very lucky to have a board like you. And I just want to let you know that I may not be here speaking, but I will be watching on the live stream. And I will be listening for that COLA and salary enhancement. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Angie. And I'm actually going to say, no, we do like hearing from you, even if you have hard things to say. And that's the relationship that we really enjoy because it's really important. And
I just want to throw out there, Angie, big shoes to fill, because I think you did a great job. And you, again, to use that courage word, you always said it like you saw it. And I think, especially in a small town, that can sometimes be hard. And I have a lot of respect for you, the way you did that for, God, I didn't know it's been that long, but for 5 years. So congrats and thank you.
I would too love to add, I know I haven't been on the board as long as everyone else, but I think I've been on the board during a really trying time. And I know how hard it is to be a leader and how much pull and push you got during this time. And just your remaining professional and always doing what was right for your teachers and for our students. I really appreciated your time and your service to the board. So thank you.
Yeah, I just want to echo that, and to echo Kevin's comment. You have always been direct, to the point, not a lot of razzmatazz or a lot of hoo-ha, just the facts and what we need to hear from you. And that's the way I love dealing with unions, right? It's a partnership and it's a conversation. You've kept us there through some really tough times. And you know, you've been there almost the entire time I've been on the board. And so I sort of feel like you're abandoning me. But if you promise that you'll listen, I'll feel more comfortable.
I will be listening, Michael.
All right, good.
And watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But thank you so much.
And I will just say that you will be very missed at our evening meetings and staying up with us. I've often marveled at you staying up all night long and knowing that you're headed into a room full of kindergartners first thing in the morning. And that takes a lot of stamina. So I really have always appreciated your point of view and your forthright honesty about what is happening in the district, that especially through COVID has been harder for us as board members to have a finger on the pulse of what's happening on campuses, since we couldn't be on campuses and can't be in every Zoom room with students and staff. And so I really appreciate you bringing that to our board meetings, and you will be missed.
All right, well, I'll be watching you.
Thank you, Angie. A hard act to follow, Chuck. Our California School Employees Association President, Chuck Crawford.
Good evening. You know, I always start out with thank you. And Angie, thank you. It's been a great relationship. And thank you, board. I got to watch the awards ceremony yesterday, and I just thought about us as a unified district, and to all the comments that were just made about how we stayed unified through such a hard time. I was thinking about those custodians last night that we had to clean up after all that. You know, I so appreciate our custodians who have just carried a lot this year, and the unsung heroes. I thank the district for recognizing in the classified employees last week. And boy, you know, the fact that we're a unified district is why we see the fruit and the flowers that we do at the awards ceremonies. And that is such a blessing. This is now my 25th year of being able to see that, and to see how we all come together for those kids, whether it's the custodian or the aides, right? And this year was Zoom. I mean, we all experienced last Monday, right? What a horrible day with no internet, no telephones, right? But we still stayed together. And that's what's so beautiful about this district. We can agree to disagree. We can agree to agree, but we're getting it done. And the classified employees are tired, but I'm sure we're all tired at this point. And we're looking forward to the harvest, which is next week. So in saying that, I am also looking forward to some serious conversations about budget. We as classified employees have not seen a raise in 3 years. We have helped the district get to that minimum wage, which we still have to do by January 22. We have absorbed some of the healthcare costs working with the district. Knowing that there's monies this year and hearing the parents in their conversations, they need to recognize that the district has been very responsive. And I've said that publicly several times, and thank you. And in saying that, there's a lot of money going to be on the table this year. I hope that we can continue to have the honest conversation and address the holes that I mentioned last month that are being addressed by some of these changes, because you, the board, have ridden this out for a long time and know what I'm talking about. And the public that has attended these meetings is aware that there's some very difficult choices in providing the services to the children. There's a few, how do I want to say? I call them redwoods out there, like people like Bill Wagner or Kevin Ruff with his whole jury program that are going on there. There's those services like that in a district like this that other districts aren't experiencing, or Kim Hoy and her whole dance program. And when people try to tear the district apart for whatever reasons, I just want to acknowledge that we are a unified district providing the services on a very difficult budget. And rather than tear people apart, I've always tried to say thank you, to recognize the efforts that are put out there from the classified administration and on. And we have worked together, and I thank you for that. And as we go forward with these monies, I hope that we can continue to work together. And I'm saying this because of our last board meeting at 9:30 at night, when that budget report was presented, that was pretty painful. The cafeteria fund caught my attention, our classified attention, and that's one of the holes that we've already addressed, but it's slow to catch up. The idea of our bond managers having two, we haven't had that before. They're doing a great job, but the public's not staying up till 9:30 at night to see how that money's being spent. But we, the classified, are experiencing that, whether it's chainsaws in the middle of the day or whether it's power going out, all those things. And it's just a collaborative effort. The word transparency was used in one of those public comments. And I don't think 9:30 at night is deliberate. We have a lot of thank yous, as we just did again tonight, for all the people that contribute to make this district successful. But I think if we could have those budget meetings earlier in the time where people could hear them, we kind of experienced that earlier in life with Measure J, where people thought the gazebo at Matilaha was being built by Measure J money. Not a true statement, but that was the perception, okay? And again, talking about our resources. So we as classified employees, we're grateful to be here. We're grateful to be recognized. The needs have been met as we've talked about them. And as we go forward with the monies, I just want to ask that we be considered in some of the changes that we know need to take place. The staffing change that you made at the last meeting is one of those examples. I've been here when we had that staffing before. We don't have the students now, but that can be explained because the work still needs to be done. And so I think I'm on all over the chart. I hope I made my point. I am grateful to be here. I'm grateful that we have money to work with, and I'm grateful that we can supply what the children need in this district. So with that, classified, we say thank you. Let's enjoy the harvest of another year of graduating students. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. We move on to 4.3, which is our board members report. Kevin, have anything you would like to address?
No.
Michael?
No.
Rebecca? Sorry, I'm trying to find you guys on my screen.
No, I'm good.
Shelley?
I just, excuse me, as we are saying goodbye to people that are at our board meetings every time and give so much of their time, I wanted to say a special thank you to Kathy Smith as she heads into retirement, and they believe this is her last board meeting also. And so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Kathy, thank you so much for all you've done for this district.
Thank you, Kathy.
How will we get on without you? I would actually like to join Chuck in recognizing last night. I was at the Nordhoff Senior Award Scholarship Award evening, and they were handing out over $200,000 worth of college scholarships. It was pretty darn amazing. A lot of just great work by the students for volunteer work, for most of it was for volunteer work and optimism and helping the community. And that's really nice to see in these tough times. I really appreciated that. So I look forward to all the promotions next week. And I guess that's all for now. 4.4 is our superintendent's report.
I'm going to share my screen. Hi, everyone. We have a number of new faces today, and I'm going to get to them in just a moment, but I would like to acknowledge that we have some people online tonight with us who I get the pleasure of introducing to you at the end of this. So I will start by just an overview of some of the great things that are going on in the district. We have summer school enrollment still happening. We are now at a little more than 25% of our students are signed up and enrolled for a summer school program, which is great. And we have not yet started promoting summer school for credit recovery. So I anticipate that that will continue to go up as we reach out individually to students, but our enrichment programs are filling up. We continue to have to add staffing at the elementary level. Thank you to Catherine White for doing a great job of that. And Kelly Stone has been our summer pre-principal. And then we'll switch over to our summer school principals who are Marsha Webb at Nordhoff, Alex Mejia at Matilaha, and Catherine White at Miramani for all of the elementary school students. So we're excited to see that enrollment. We have been doing something called Save the Playdate that our kindergarten teachers all got together along with Dr. Knox and Linda Jordan and myself, and we came up with some ideas for marketing for our kindergartners. And one of the ideas was this Save the Playdate, so that our new families could get to know each other, because sometimes when you have an incoming kindergartner, you don't know anyone, or a TK student. And so even though these rotate around to different schools, all of the teachers have been going to all of the different programs. So you'll see our teachers here together, and down here we have Mrs. Janassi and Icy Colburn, and I don't know what school that is. Oh, it's Miramani. So all the teachers go around in a group to all of them. So it's not like, oh, we're just marketing for Topa, we're just marketing for San Antonio. It's really our entire community of kindergarten teachers coming together to serve all of our community, our kindergarten families across the community. We're excited to have that happening. It's been really fun. We had the Matilaha Middle School first National Junior Honor Society promotion or celebration. We've had Honor Society in the past, but this year, thanks to Kelly Stone, we connected that with the national group. So we were excited to have a group of students who were able to promote through that program this year. We had also at Matilaha Middle School, our fifth graders came for their visit to the campus. It was very exciting. They had fresh baked cinnamon rolls, they had drumline, they got t-shirts, they got to see all of the great things that they will get to experience on the Matilaha campus next year. As Chuck mentioned, we had Classified Appreciation Week. So we delivered cakes to every site for our classified faculty or our classified employees, and some of our teachers may have had a slice as well. And that was great to celebrate. We had our year-end staff celebration. So in the past, you would have probably at this meeting been having all of our retirees in person at a board meeting. As you know, it gets a little hot and a little crowded. And so this year, instead, we had an all-staff celebration. We had about 150 to 160 people came. We had food, we had celebration, we had a great time, and it was really lovely. We hope to continue that in the future as a way of celebrating our employees of the year, our retirees, and this year we also had our new employees because we didn't get together at the beginning of the school year. We also have been doing Soup with the Superintendent. So I go to every site and anyone who would like to join me for lunch to discuss any ideas that they have, any issues they might have, or just to hang out and have food. We have one site left. Summit and A Place to Grow will be combined this week. And I want to thank Frances and her team for making all of this delicious food, and Kathy Smith for helping to set all of these up. So that's been a really great experience. I think we had 6 last week, and lots of great ideas coming from our staff of different things that we can do. We also had a COPA meeting. So COPA is our group that serves our Spanish preferred families, Spanish language preferred families. And we were able to introduce our new English learner and family support coordinator, Alex Mejia Holdsworth, who will be working with them next year. So that was a great event for everyone. As we mentioned, last night we had the Nordhoff Senior Awards Night with more than $200,000 in scholarships. It was a lovely event, first time ever having it outside. And I kind of liked it outside. It was nice. We have prom coming up this Friday. So here is our prom group getting started with some of the things. It's very exciting. It is outside this year. It's been a lot of work, and I'm really grateful that we were able to still have prom. There are many districts that just did not do it. We have mandatory COVID testing for everyone, or they can bring a vaccine card, but we will be sure that everyone who's in attendance at prom is safe and healthy, and that we can have a wonderful night. We also finally just closed down the vaccine clinic that was being hosted at Nordhoff. We had 27 vaccine clinic days for our community, which is part of why I think we have such low rates here. We've been having lots of community participation. And I just want to thank our team that really made that possible. Even though the hospital was hosting it, our team put in a lot of time and effort to make that possible. I am gonna show this video. Our new library is open, and since you all do not get to go see the library in person, I want to give you a very quick video walkthrough that was created by one of our students in Mr. Hansen's class. And just so you can all see it, it actually looks even better now, but this was a few weeks ago. Hi, I'm Dr. Tiffany Morse. I'm the superintendent of Ojai Unified School District. And I'd like to start by thanking our community for their generous support of Measure J and K, or school bond measures for facilities improvement. This is the last large project for our Measure J bond, the Nordhoff Library and Media Center. We're so excited to see students on campus using this beautiful new facility. We have a number of features in this library that make it innovative and great for students, including this beautiful outdoor space. It was designed using natural materials because that's important to our community and for our campus. We also have designed it so that students can sit outside individually or work together in small groups in this beautiful outdoor setting. Thank you again for the community support of Measure J and K and our ongoing support of Nordhoff students. Hi, I'm Denise Rempa. I'm the Nordhoff librarian, and we want to welcome you to our new Library Media Center. Follow me. My favorite feature are the solar light tubes. They're placed strategically throughout the library. They offer smart LED lighting that adjusts to the ambient light, making this facility more efficient and lowering costs. Through this door is the CCC, which is the College and Career Center, now integrated with the library, and the makerspace for the Lab for Science classrooms. Our College and Career Center will be located in the new library to better utilize meeting and presentation space, and gives our students easier access to college and career readiness, materials, and support. You can see our beautiful new circulation desk that the kids are going to come to check out books and do their business in the library. Back here, we have a book room that keeps our books, and our library office. Come on over here. In this corner over here, we have teacher classroom in the library with adjustable furniture. And over here are our learning commons, which are state-of-the-art study rooms for our students. There's been strong student demand for places on campus to study and do collaborative work on course projects and tutoring. These rooms offer sound control, flexible furniture, good lighting, electrical outlets and whiteboards,
and a room reservation system. Thank you so much for joining us on this tour of our Library Media Center.
Hi, I'm Principal Dave Munson. We would like to thank the design charrette made up of staff, students, and local community members for their contributions to the final design. We appreciate and welcome input from all of our stakeholders, and we look forward to welcoming staff and students into this space very soon. Thank you.
I'm not sure, I might have to let it play till just the very end so I can get back to my slides. There. So I would say now the library is completely full of books, which is amazing. So when we had this, we didn't have the books in there yet. We still had a few things we were working on. And also that I would like to hire Denise to do all of my voiceover work from now on, because I'm going to have to just stop sharing for a minute because I don't know how to exit from that presentation to get back to my slides. So give me just 1 second while we do that. Sometimes running the tech and presenting at the same time is not as easy as, it's not easy at all. So I've been trying to practice spotlighting people tonight also. And we'll see how that goes in the next part where I have to spotlight everyone and talk about them at the same time. Okay, let me go back to sharing my presentation. Thank you to Linda Jordan, who helped with scripting all of that, all of our people who were in the video, and also to our student, Jackson Williams, who made that video for us. And so next slide. We have, oh, I'm so excited. Tomorrow is our first Ojai Community Farmers Market. We're really, really excited. We have 2 booths of students from Ojai Unified who will be having, we have produce in one booth. And so we have students who are making and selling succulent gardens and some of our food from Food for Thought that's being grown in our community gardens. That will be for sale to the community. And then we also have kind of a maker's booth for students who want to make and sell their products to the community. So we're very excited about this. This is Allison Leet, who is a teacher at Chaparral. She's our horticulture teacher, and she is our lead person for the farmers market. And then Lori Hammer. And then these people are from the Ag Commission, and they were saying, we've never had to go do certification at schools before because they were selling their produce at a farmer's market. So we are first of our kind. We're very excited. So come by tomorrow, 3 to 7. Ribbon cutting, I think, starts at 3. So if you want to be there for that. Just another little thing, I'm proud of our summer school programs. I was on a legislative lunch show today, and I'm just going to fast forward because I don't like that screenshot very much. But we are excited that we get to showcase some of the great work we're doing at a statewide level. And everybody's very excited about our summer school program and wants to know how they can do that themselves. So a few other things, Nordhoff Performance Dance Away happened and was great. It was a live show outside, very exciting. The Nordhoff Musical, Theory of Relativity happened. We had Matilaha Movie Night, Nordhoff Senior Rally. The Matilaha 8th grade dance is this Friday. Yes, that is the same night as prom. So all of our students will be dancing away on Friday night. If you want to chaperone, let us know. We'll always take more adults to help with that. And then finally, I just want to share that Summit received their WASC approval. And so they are accredited, full accreditation, and we're excited for all of our students and staff and families at Summit. All right, standing ovation. So we have a lot because it's the end of the year. So we had lots of people who are really grateful for the things that happened this year. And I want to point out to Chuck, there are a ton of classified people on here. So they are our unsung heroes, but we're grateful to recognize them as part of our standing ovations awards. And I want you to know, Chuck, that parents and teachers and staff see our classified people who are out there making it all stick together. What do you say? The glue that holds the district together. So we have Aubrey Minkle, Dave Franson, Francis Gonzalez, Haley Hernandez, Molly Sharp, and myself. We have Jessica Lashy at A Place to Grow Preschool. We have Elvia Gonzalez, Morgan Middow, and Christine Hodge at Miners Oaks. At Miramani, we have Sarah Ferrante, who's actually not at Miramani, she's at Topa, Kim Marie Buckley, Pam DeCola, and Tina Mahler. We have Danny Umscheid at San Antonio, Kim Eck, Icy Colburn, and Jamie McMillan. And at Topo, we have a ton. Mary, Nancy Raleigh, Denise, Angie again, Sarita Davis, Elizabeth, Monica Stewart, Amanda Belcher, and Tracy Anderson. And I love this because it's such a good mix of staff at our campus who are doing really great work. More at Topa, actually. Mike Vale, Jennifer Hankins, who we saw tonight, Heather Myers, Suzanne Olson, Sarita, Elizabeth again, Monica Stewart, and Chris Undo. So great job, Topa. At Matilla, we have Amber Menares, Steve Gard, Roy Patino, Bodie Usher, Carrie Holden, Stephanie Hull, Marco, Cindy, and Joyce. Thank you. And also I want to say thank you to Karen Dingman, who submitted a whole bunch of these. She was having a great time. I was glad to see that. And then at Nordhoff High School, we have Denise Rimpa, Todd Robeson, Kim Hoy, Brianna Beebe, and our whole Nordhoff teachers and staff. And just a couple of comments for you. The things that you've made possible through these rough times are unreal, and the gratitude I want to express can't be put into words. As a single mom, these programs that have been available for the kids and myself have been such an amazing success. And then this one is from Mr. Munson about our teachers and staff's ability to pivot quickly, learn new strategies and protocols, and adapt to many new bell schedules that were crucial to our success. And with that, I would now like to go to the second part of my superintendent's report. And I know it's a little bit long, but this is very exciting because we are going to do some hellos to new people who will be joining us in the district next year or after July 1st. So bear with me as I try and spotlight each person because I find it easier than trying to look through the little squares. So we are going to start with Hazel Gonzalez, who is going to be my new executive assistant. So Hazel comes to us from Santa Paula Unified School District with 6 years of school site experience and experience in the private industry before that. And she brings many talents, strengths, and abilities, and we are so excited to have Hazel join the Ojai Unified family. So welcome, Hazel. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you, and I look forward to joining the Ojai family.
Hazel actually does the translation in Spanish for some of the Santa Paula board meetings. So she is very familiar with board meetings and how fun and exciting and sometimes late at night they can go. Thank you.
Look forward to this.
Next we have Rhonda, and I'm going
right here. Hello.
So we have Rhonda Lambos, who's going to be admin assistant to the principal at Nordhoff High School. Rhonda brings with her to Nordhoff her experience from Ventura County Office of Education, Conejo Valley Unified School District, Santa Barbara Unified, as well as many years of experience in other public entities. Yes. Rhonda was the unanimous choice from the interview panel, and we look forward to working with her. Rhonda,
hello.
Like to say anything?
Thank you, everybody. I really look forward to working at Ojai, and I know it's a great place to work, and I'm very excited.
Great. Thank you. And by the way, just because I said Rhonda was a unanimous choice doesn't mean everyone else wasn't.
No.
I just wanted to. Next, we have our Dean of Students, and I saw you, Leslie. Okay, I have to scroll through and find you. So we have Leslie Sobolski, who has 16 years of classroom experience, and she is going to be our new part-time Dean of Students and teacher at Nordhoff. She has been teaching in Santa Paula and other districts, and most recently was the Dean of Students for Simi Valley Unified School District, or for a school in Simi Valley Unified School District. She also has coaching experience as well as class advisor experience. Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you. I'm just really excited to be here. I'm just eager to get going and to work with Mr. Monson and Mr. Webb. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'm just thrilled to be here.
Great. So now I might as well introduce Marsha Webb. So Leslie, you might know that Marshall is also joining you at the same time. Marshall Webb has been selected as the assistant principal at Nordhoff High School. He has been teaching English at Nordhoff High School since January and brought with him many years of administrative experience. He's taught English for 25 years and has served as the Dean of Students for Tulare Union High School District. And we welcome Marshall to, well, a new position in our Ojai Unified team. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, especially to the Board of Trustees and all the district personnel that selected me as the assistant principal at Nordhoff. And I know that Nordhoff has a great tradition of excellence, and I'm super excited to be part of that next chapter. And was, I think, very fortunate to serve as a teacher first there, especially in that difficult transition from distance learning to in-person. So that'll help me understand the challenges, of course, of all the students and staff as we hopefully permanently move to in-person learning going forward. And just looking forward to bringing my experience to develop professional learning communities and best instructional practices for all the students' achievements and successes. So thank you again, everyone.
Thank you, Marshall, and thank you for being summer school principal.
Yes.
Great too. We always need that.
Yes.
And finally, we have James Anderson, who will be joining us as the assistant principal at Matilaha Middle School.
Okay.
James Anderson comes to Ojai Unified from San Mateo Foster City School District, teaching middle school for the last 5 years. He completed his student teaching in Conejo Valley Unified School District and is a Ventura County local, returning home, hopefully to Ojai and not Conejo, but wherever you want to live is okay with us.
Yeah, good evening, board members, administrators, teachers, parents, students, and staff. Thank you all for welcoming me into your educational community. Again, my name is James Anderson. I'm thrilled to be joining Ojai Unified School District, the heart and future of the community, as the new vice principal of Matilaha. I'm a champion for all students. I believe that everyone has the right to a quality education to reach their own unique potentials. I consider myself to be a lifelong learner and have completed my master's thesis on teacher challenges and attitudes towards instructing English language learners at California Lutheran University, close to where I grew up in Westlake Village. So I have a lot of great strategies to help support your staff, support their English language learners. I'm also looking forward to getting to know and learn from each and every one of you so that I may continue to grow as a professional. I'm eager to immerse myself within the community and learn more about the unique and special opportunities the Ojai Valley has to offer. I selected Ojai Unified School District as the next step in my career as a professional educator due to its values of an inclusive culture, environmental stewardship, creative expression, and wellness. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone around town, especially at the farmers market. Thank you.
Hey. I'm glad you went last, James, because we didn't make anyone prepare anything. And so that was perfect.
Yeah, again, Kelly's guidance to prepare a speech was really great and wonderful. So looking forward to everyone.
Well, thank you all so much for being here tonight. We are so excited to have
you.
Many wonderful people joining our team this year, and we look forward to an in-person amazing year next year. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
And I also wanted to, in addition to saying hello, I wanted to say goodbye. And most of that has already been thunder stolen, but that's okay. I wanted to say goodbye to 2 people who have been at our board meetings for a long time. We've already mentioned them both. So Angie Janassi, wanted to thank you personally for all of your time and commitment in leading the union and really truly being a union partner in the work that we've had to do that has been difficult over the last 2 years that I've been here, and I think had some challenges before that, or maybe it was all perfect, I'm not sure. But I appreciate you and thank you, and I am gonna miss you at the board meetings for sure. And also goodbye to Kathy, whose last day with us in the office is on this Friday. And I had ordered something for you and it's coming tomorrow morning, which is just par for my week. So I don't have a thing, but it's coming. So you can take a picture and put it on Facebook for us all to see. But thank you to Kathy and for all of the many countless hours that she's spent serving this board late at night, serving the district. really 24/7 as an ambassador for Ojai Unified. And so thank you for everything that you have done to serve the students and families here in this community. Thank you.
If I could just chime in on that before we move off of Kathy, I want to say thank you as well. She's been sort of my safety blanket as I started not knowing what the heck I was doing as a board member. And I, seeing her trudge all across town delivering those binders before we went digital, it's like, oh my God, that is dedication. And so thank you, Kathy. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Angie, for the chat.
I did want to say, Michael, I know I'm just going to say it. Michael, I agree. Kathy has held my hand for 5 years, and I have to say I so appreciate that. You have said, oh, I have that form, that letter, that whatever, and you have saved me many, many times. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And with that, the superintendent's report is concluded.
Thank you, Tiffany. And thank you, Kathy. I not only just driving those binders, but creating those binders, that's quite a lot of work. And we always knew that you knew everyone in the Valley. And that was also just really helpful. And you cared, and your smile was always there, and I appreciated it. My son would call you the Swiss Army knife.
And for our folks who are joining us, you are, of course, welcome to stay, but you don't have to. You will spend plenty of time in board meetings in the future, so it is up to you.
Good night to those of you who were welcome tonight.
Good night, everyone.
We move on to item 6.1, which is adoption of our consent calendar. But before we vote, I would like to read another public comment on 6.1.15 from Darius Lange. What is a conflict of interest? A conflict of interest is any personal interest that an individual or entity might have that conflicts or could potentially conflict with the interest of the foundation. If a transaction or relationship with the entity is good for you, but not necessarily good for the entity, you are in a potential conflict of interest. Board members and lead administrators at the district should disclose before running for a position or assuming lead position if they have a close personal relationship, friendship with administrators at the district, which may include personal lines of communication, such as personal emails, texts, spouses, phone conversations, and engagements that would not be publicly noted otherwise. California Public Records Account Code 6250 at CPRA and Article 1, Section 3B of the California Constitution. Many people in our community feel disenfranchised as perceived conflicts of interest may not directly be tied to financial contracts or family members. I'm afraid I have to disagree with this notion. First, stakeholders' tax dollars may be misappropriated due to close relationships and legal conflicts of loyalty. Conflicts of loyalty is perceived at both board and district leadership in the Ojai USD and board directors. What is a conflict of loyalty? Influence of domineering board members on others. Both independent and interested directors can potentially be influenced by powerful CEOs, chairpersons, or other directors through compensation, favors, relationships, or psychological manipulation. Board members may also forsake their institutional duties out of personal loyalty to the CEO or chairperson. One way directors can determine whether they have been overly influenced is by asking themselves, have I been influenced or manipulated in order to agree with others? Persuasive influence often comes from people holding the combined role of CEO and chairperson, as they can sway other board members' compensation. Personal, familial, and professional relationships can also potentially affect an independent director's judgment. The social connection between directors and CEOs or chairpersons can not always be thoroughly checked. For example, retired CEOs may remain chairpersons on the company's board, and many of the directors on that board may owe the chairperson their job. Or the CEO may invite close friends to join the board as directors. In both cases, the directors in question may be influenced by a sense of loyalty or duty to the chairperson or CEO, even if the CEO or chairperson is not acting in the best interests of the company or its shareholders and other stakeholders. Independent directors would be reluctant to contradict the views of the CEO or chairperson to whom they felt they owed their loyalty, so rather than do so, they may either comply or step down from their role. I suggest this body create a policy that touches on both conflicts of interest and touches loyalty conflicts. Adoption of the consent calendar, which is 6.11 through 6.1.22. Is there a motion to approve?
I will move to approve, and I just want to say a thank you to all those who have donated, but I wanted to say a special thank you to those who have donated in honor of Mrs. Barite to Nordhoff High School. Mrs. Barite, for those of you who don't know, while she never, to my knowledge, taught in OUSD, she was an integral part of many of our lives in the Valley. And as a child, I had the pleasure of going to a school that she taught at, and I never had the pleasure of being in her class. And she was such a dynamic teacher that she affected my life without ever having been in her classroom. So I'm just very appreciative of those who have donated in her honor, and I wanted to give a special mention to them. So
I'm glad you said that, Shelley, because I even have a note. Thank you to all those. That's in 6.1.6, especially the Rotary and the Stack Enterprises. And those are huge donations, and that means a lot to the district. So I'm sorry, Shelley, did you also move to approve? Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oop.
Kathy, it's up to you. Michael and Kevin both seconded. All those in favor, Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. That passes 5-0. 6.2, human resource variable term waiver for employment of school counselor. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
A second.
All those in favor, Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. That passes 5-0. Hello, Marilyn. 6.3.1, approval of OUSD 21-22 school plans for student achievement.
I just want to thank Marilyn. Before you start, I want to thank all of our principals and site staff for being here in order to answer questions. They all showed up so that they could be here for this. Now, Marilyn.
Okay. Thank you. Just as a preface to the school plans for student achievement, I just want to remind everyone that it's really the federal Every Student Succeeds Act that requires schools who receive Title I funds that they must, and who operate a school-wide program, that they must develop a school plan. So in our 8 SIPSs, you'll see that Summit does not, they have a school plan, but they don't have to meet the same requirements as the other 7 sites because they don't receive Title I. So I just preface with that. And also for the past, well, since 2014, when the LCAP arrived and LCFF, it's been the design of California Department of Education to really align the SIPSA with the LCAP. And even though the LCAP is really a 3-year plan and the SIPSA is just a 1-year plan, much of their planning is in that context of continuous improvement. So you'll see a lot of similarities in the two: stakeholder engagement, goals, and actions and services. So I know there were some questions that we had earlier in written form that Cheryl and I tried to answer, but if there are any other questions, we're here to answer.
Does anyone want to share any of their questions? Mine were pretty, I don't think they're important. I don't know how to say that.
I wouldn't say
I'll
that.
give you an example. So the climate at Matilaha, Kelly, it talks about the climate and all that you're doing to help with the climate. And I noticed that BAR wasn't listed. So I asked about that. BAR is something that we approved at our last board meeting for social and emotional learning. So the answer is obviously that this was created before BAR was passed. So those are the type of questions that was not, maybe I feel like it not necessarily need to be addressed tonight, but if there's something important that someone feels is important for the public to understand that they want to share, please let us know.
I did have a question. I got an answer, but it kind of falls into that category because I was a little confused about school site councils and proportion of memberships and stuff. And at least one of them was half parents. And my question was, are they all half parents or how are they built?
Yeah.
And
That's in statute, Michael. It's there must be parity between staff and parents/students, because secondary, you can have students on your school site council. There has to be parity. So if there are 5 parents, you would have 5 staff members. And all of those people are voted by those peers. So staff members vote for staff and parents vote for parents.
Marilyn, I think that's important because I know there have been some letters and concerns about why maybe a teacher who's also a parent is serving as a parent, but they had to put their hat in the ring and other parents had to vote for them. So if parents have a concern that a teacher is serving as a parent, then they should be sure to vote and to put their name in the hat. And if there is a concern for that, I do know some of those teachers have done a lot of work as parents. So it's important to remember that they can wear both hats.
Yes, and a teacher also, statute also says a teacher may serve as a parent. I mean, they're not disqualified by the employment of the district, but it's just they can't serve on the school site council at that school where they're employed.
Well, if they serve, they have to serve as a teacher on the site where they work. But any other school in the district, if they're a parent there, they can be in the parent body to represent parents.
And that's to avoid a conflict of interest, right? Because you don't want to be a parent in where you actually work.
That's right.
Right. You don't want to stack your school site council with all staff by doing that.
I just want to circle back again to make sure that I understand this. Everybody who is elected to a particular role in a school site council is elected by the constituency that they're there to represent.
Correct.
Okay.
With the exception of the principal. The principal always serves.
Yeah, well, they have to work, right? So. Okay, thank you.
I just have a quick highlight, Marilyn, I guess more than anything. So the school site councils work to help decide with site budgets and purchasing and direction. They're like a local mini board to help guide the principal in decision making, correct?
That's absolutely correct. So the school site council is really working, they're all working together. So the let's just say 5 staff members, 5 parents, they're working to develop that SIPSA, and then the SIPSA develops goals. And as I mentioned, those goals, we've tried to align them since 2014 when LCFF came in. We align the SIPSA goals with the LCAP goals so that all that planning is kind of done together. And then each individual site decides what actions and services can we do. So for example, if you have your goal 1 might be climate and engagement. And so maybe one school site decides they want to bring in speakers for SEL or something like that. Another site might do something different. So it differs in that way, but the goals of the SIPSA are the same as the LCAP.
But it's another way for parent voice to be part of the leadership in the district and part of the decision making at the school site.
And at the secondary level, the students play a big part of that, because when Dave meets with his school site council, it might be 3 parents, 2 students, and then 5 staff. So students are really an important voice in the SIPs at the secondary level, not so much at the middle school.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a quick follow-up, Marilyn. We actually have councils at all of our schools, right?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct, with the exception
Of Summit.
Summit School doesn't have to have a school site council, but at that site, those parents are already so involved because of the nature of this, being a non-classroom based. So they still have a lot of input. It's just not legally called school site council, and so, but they do have input.
And I believe Ed Code also requires the number of represent, right? Like there's 10 and 12 or something.
Yes, with the exception of schools that are under, that are fewer than 300, which all of our elementaries are, except for Miramani. Miramani's, I think, Catherine, 325 or something. So yeah, you can, the minimum there would be 6, 3 and 3. 3 parents, 3 parents, 3 staff.
Has anyone ever had more than that? Or, I mean, I remember when I served a site council at Topa Topa, I don't think there was parents clamoring to serve. So, okay.
I'm not sure if anybody,
right on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody here has had more than the minimum requirement. I can tell you, serving as a principal for 7 years, it was always hard to even meet the requirement because it's not always easy to find people to serve on the committees.
And the other thing we try to do with school site council is maybe ask people personally if they would like to serve, especially if they're representing English learners. It could be guardians of foster youth and or low income. So it's really important to have that representation.
And I'll just give a plug to any parents out there who are paying attention to this. I have served on the school site council. It's a great place to serve. You do affect the school and have communication with the principal and how that Title I funding is spent and what programs are being funded. And on top of all that, you don't meet all that often, and it's not a huge commitment. So it's a big impact with not a huge commitment. And so big plug for any parents who are contemplating it.
And it's the road to running for school board.
Well, and those the students that talked tonight about, Bridget and Emily, and talked about how they really learned the inner workings of the district when they talked about that earlier this evening. I think the same thing with school site council, don't you, Shelley? When you get on school site council, you kind of understand the inner workings.
Is there any other principals who want to make a comment on their school plan, or shall we move to a motion?
I just wanted to say that I really appreciated seeing the conversation in the SIPSA about enrollment at Chaparral, and the understanding that it has been a difficult year for students and that we could see an increase of enrollment at Chaparral, and are paying attention to dropout rates and really wanting to support those students who are struggling, and that there's a plan for that. And so I appreciated seeing that.
Well, truly, in Chaparral, because I was principal at Chaparral, and I know this, that it's there for 16 to 18-year-olds who are at risk of not graduating for various reasons, usually deficient in credits. And it really gives them an opportunity in a very small setting, usually not more than 20 kids in a class, where teachers can really develop and engage with those students. I think it's really important.
Thank you. I appreciated seeing the focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually heard from some teachers in the past week or so who have been really pleasantly, working on report cards and realizing, wow, their students did a really great job this year. And I know the papers keep saying, I don't mean the OHI paper. I mean, if you read the LA Times and the New York and the Huffington Post and Ventura, that the students are suffering. And I'm not saying that they're not, but we do have many students and teachers who are just really pleased with the outcome of this year, with the expectation that maybe it was going to be worse. So,
Mr. Munson, can you share where our senior class is academically?
This particular senior class is outstanding. When I was running some grade point averages, I think cumulatively the class of 2021 has a 3.4 GPA. I haven't had an opportunity to compare that to other years, but that's nearly an A average, and that's top to bottom. When you look at some of our top scholars, 20% of our graduating class had a 4.0 GPA or better. So
can you talk about, I think you had told me that we had all students had above a certain GPA.
Yeah, we didn't have a single graduate below a 2.0 GPA.
And I just want to point out that's 2 years, right? So half of their entire high school career having COVID related, instruction. And so we're really proud of that. And I know it was controversial to have a block schedule, but what we are seeing is that our students were able to thrive by focusing more on less at a time.
Correct.
And I'll just throw out for this senior class that they really are a resilient group, because not only have they dealt with COVID in their high school career, but they started out their high school career with Thomas Fire.
Right.
And so they have these bookend calamities that they dealt with in their high school career and are succeeding admirably. So kudos to class of 2021 for their resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their sophomore year was the only year that they had a complete uninterrupted year.
That's crazy.
So I did have an additional question, and it's Marilyn, forgive me, after about 200 pages of this, it starts to blend together. So I know not for you, but so here's my question. As I was going through this and looking at the scores and the ratings and stuff from site to site to site, my impression was that even though on some measures we're still below standard, by and large, we saw significant improvement across the district. Did I misread that?
Well, the SIP says you might have misread it.
Okay.
Well, it's just, I have to be blunt. SIP says we did not have CASP, so we had no scores. So you notice many of those 385 pages of SIPSs had no CASP scores last year, no LPAC scores last year. And it's real frustrating when we all got together as principals to work on our SIPSs together before going off on our own. And, page after page, there would be no analyses because there were no scores. So I don't know to what you're referring when,
I think it's the previous years. It's actually the returns from 2019.
Oh, maybe I misread it.
I don't know.
Okay, I may have misread it. I will review those 200 pages again.
While we're here, I would like to share that we did state testing. We started last week for elementary schools, and principals, you can chime in, but I happened to be doing my soup with a soup that week, and I had an earful almost everywhere about how hard it was to do, both because of internet issues, technology issues, lots and lots of issues with distance learners. keeping in mind that we only have about 10%, maybe a little more, of our elementary students are still in distance learning. But for those students and teachers, it was incredibly difficult to do testing. And I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in. So Dr. Knox and I have actually been looking forward to the results of our math testing, and we really want to see how great Leverett is. But I'm throwing out now that it was not an easy process, I think, anywhere for anyone. Feel free to chime in.
I will chime in and just say we were really looking forward to this. I was optimistic that we would have some really great scores to share. I'm not feeling quite that way right now because of just what you just shared. Our internet was, VCOE had a big problem, which continued into testing for a couple of days. Distance learners, trying to get our kids on campus in the afternoons, and just the whole process of that, and who's going to test the kids. It's been a tough testing, even with the truncated versions, the shortened versions for the ELA CAT and the ELA math. It's been hard. It's been hard. Yeah.
I was just going to say that Monday last week, when we had no Wi-Fi, was the start of testing for many of our campuses. And it seemed very ironic that that would be how we would start testing this year, 2021, no internet, no Wi-Fi, and that was going to be our kickoff day. So I think that was hard for students because they were geared up and ready to go, and then to not be able to access the test was a little frustrating.
So we are still positive about our results, but I want to share that I'm grateful that at the middle and high school we have an alternative to that process, because we have more students. About 30% of our students at middle and high school are still on distance learning, and so I think that would be amplified. But we are doing our IXL testing this week at Matilaha, right, Kelly? And Friday at Nordhoff, right, Ms.
Yes, we actually did a science testing today. Sorry, I've lost track of the days. And everything, it was this morning, and everything went very smoothly. We were very pleased. The reports I got back from teachers where everything went very smoothly. And then we will do IXL testing. We have ELA tomorrow and math on Friday. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. Do I have a motion to approve? I'll move
to approve.
Thank you, Shelley. I'll second. All those in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Yes.
And Jane, yes. That passes 5-0. Thank you all. We have 3 textbook recommendations, and I haven't heard that there were questions about them. So if we would like to take them all together in a motion, that's fine.
I would just like to add, I didn't invite Fender. I thought his were pretty clear as far as his recommendations. I did invite Andrea Robinson in case you have any questions about the Matilaha pilot. It took them 3 years and several different programs to choose. So she is here if you have any questions, but if not, that's fine too.
Sorry, Andrea, I wish I had one since you took the time to be here.
I was racking my brain to come up with something.
But we have been piloting it for 2 years, yes? Yeah. So
yes.
We've been
Andrea,
hearing.
Do you want to add some comments about what you guys liked about Studies Weekly?
I think the items that we like best about Studies Weekly are that it's constantly updating every year. They're consumables, they're in a newspaper format. So each year we get a new publication that's been updated. So if we find anything that, maybe we want to improve, they're constantly taking input from us, the teachers, as well as from their own. They're constantly having people adjust and edit. So we're getting the newest information every year with the new consumables, and the internet option is updated right away. So that's what we like the best about it. We also really appreciate that it's smaller snippets of information, easy to understand. It has a reading tool that helps you with the online version that we appreciate it. And we also like that both it's available as an in-print version and the exact same material is available online. So when we need to switch, we can make those adjustments as necessary. So that was our big big selling point for it over the past 2 years.
And can you just remind us, our 7th grade is medieval, ancient medieval?
Yes, medieval world history. And 8th grade is American history. So up to 1910, 1920 is where we
so it's actually U.S. history, right? It's from
the 8th grade, yes.
Revolution on. So it's not like our 4th grade curriculum about Native American
no, correct. Yes.
States. So it's U.S.
history.
Thank you.
And my understanding is that they also have a very inclusive board that they work with to look at the articles and make sure that they're appropriate for our students.
Yes, they created a diversity board it was actually in address to some issues that parents had found with the material. And they created this diversity board in order to ensure that all of their material was inclusive and appropriate according to all concerned groups.
I'm going to start the motion to approve 6.3.2, the welding textbook, 6.3.3, the automotive technology textbook, and 6.3.4, the studies weekly for grades 7 and 8.
I'll second.
All those in favor, Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. That passes 5-0. Those 3 pass 5-0. Thank you, Andrea. Next is 6.3.5, which is our revised instructional calendars for 21-22 and 22-23.
A move to approve.
I'll second. Go ahead, Rebecca seconded. All those in favor, Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. That passes 5-0. Bond update.
I kind of think we have to wait an hour for the bond update, right? We don't usually do it before 8 o'clock.
It's only 7 o'clock.
It's still daylight.
I'm feeling spoiled tonight. It feels odd.
We will need you to come back after the sun sets, Adam.
I think we should.
We listened to Chuck and we were able to take immediate action, Chuck, to have the bond presentation earlier in the meeting tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us on earlier. Just a couple highlights on the bond update. The Nordhoff Library is coming to a completion. We're just working on some of the punch list items. And obviously the contractor's working on the as-built, which is extremely important, as we found as we were constructing the library, as well as the Matilaha gym, and is having proper as-built and knowing where everything is, which was not necessarily the case when we broke ground on those projects.
Adam, can I stop you right there? Because you're talking about punch list, but I thought we were also voting on a completion tonight. Am I reading that wrong for Tony Vaca?
No, it's possible to do the notice of completion even when punch list items remain.
Correct.
The project's considered, the legal term is substantially complete.
Okay, and actually I don't see it there. I don't know what I was thinking.
It was in consent.
Oh, in consent calendar.
Right. So yeah, it is substantially complete. We're just literally working on the documents and whatnot. So it's exciting. And it's exciting that we'll know where everything is. Should we do another renovation in years down the road? Years down the road. Alan's done a great job in getting the San Antonio parking lot and ADA upgrades to completion as well, substantially complete. And we've been knocking off a few little projects here and there as we're setting up for summer, as well as the the bigger picture of Measure K, where we were able to complete some roof repairs on the Matilla Hall weight room. And probably the biggest excitement, and I'll let Alan talk about this, is the district-wide solar that we've been working on.
Okay, yeah, district-wide solar is coming along nicely. We have 3 more sort of final secondary interviews with the final 3 vendors. We believe that David and Adam and I and another person that is a friend of the district, Keith Henderson, sat in through the initial interviews, and we believe that all 3 of these are competent, capable, and experienced in doing solar. So we're now just kind of having some final interviews to talk to the people that are going to actually be on the ground. Who are the superintendents and the people that we're going to be working with, the engineers we'll be working with on the project from each of the companies, so we can get a feel for how they are to work with, because it kind of comes down now to just who is it that we feel the most comfortable working with in terms of our relationship. And so we are doing 2 more interviews tomorrow and 1 on Monday, and then we'll make a decision following that.
Yeah, so that's very exciting. And I would say the architectural teams that you guys graciously approved a couple months ago are already paying dividends. We had a couple ideas we were floating around, and we're able to throw it out to one of the new architect teams who has a structural engineer in-house actually. And within the hour, they came back with an answer and saying like, yeah, you could probably do this with a few minor tweaks. And that was just them taking a look at it free of charge, just helping us out a little bit. So it's been nice to have a lot more resources at our disposal now. Any other questions on the bond update for Alan or I? Perfect.
We'll move on to 6.4.2, the Miramani Field restoration. I have to say, my heart stopped at the price tag, but then I keep hearing from all these community, how excited they are, the AYSO and just all, a lot of Miramani families about that field.
Yeah, I can understand the gasp, but it is the largest field we have out of the elementaries at almost 5 acres. And there are, if we all remember, back in the day when we redid the playground and the asphalt there, and we had some drainage concerns. This field project also addresses all of those drainage concerns outside of the asphalted area. So we're addressing all the drainage. We are installing new backflow, and we're actually decreasing the irrigated turf area by 55% and giving the community a much better product.
And planting stuff that gophers don't like?
We're actually installing a part of the project is a perimeter gopher fencing. And then, so not only do we have a perimeter gopher fence, but we also have built-in layers of areas that should they get in, they won't be directly in the new turf areas. So with DG track and 2 6-inch concrete curbs on each side to hold the DG in and to hopefully deter the gophers a little bit. So it's a substantial project, but I think it's going to be fantastic for the students and the community.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. And I just wanted to say that one of my questions about it was whether we had had other stakeholder group input, AYSO and baseball, those that would be potentially using that. And I hear that not only is our bond manager, but also volunteer extraordinaire in some of those programs too. And so we do have some stakeholder input. So I was very grateful to hear that. Thanks, Adam.
I think that all went on before we even came up with the plan, right?
Yeah, I actually sit on the board for both of those organizations. And so being able to talk to them a little bit, obviously they're very excited. So yeah, it should be really good.
So I have a motion and a second. So I'll take all those in favor. Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane, aye.
And just to touch real quick on that, when we initially sat down to come up with the designs, we had quite a few renderings, obviously, but we sat down with David Rogers, Russ Bennett, Chuck Crawford, Catherine White, and all of us kind of came up with, what we thought would be the best plans that actually addressed all of the issues as well. So we tried to incorporate everybody in the plan.
Thank you. If there's no opposition, I'd like to take the 5 roofing one, let's see, San Antonio, Topa Topa, Nordhoff, and then the CMAS contract all together. I'll move to approve those 4. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. All those pass 5-0. Finally, the approval of the Topa Topa electrical upgrade, another astonishing financial number.
Absolutely. But it does really, it upgrades the whole campus. It does it, obviously, we do have some interagency workings there with us and SCE and the city of Ojai. And it gets the campus solar ready. The current equipment there wouldn't have been able to, we wouldn't have been able to install solar right off the bat anyways. So it does get us solar ready.
Along those lines, Adam, are there other campuses that will need to be gotten solar ready, or are other campuses?
Miners Oaks has been identified as one that will be as well.
Miners Oaks and Topa Topa both have electric panels that are made by a company that no longer exists, and the parts are not available to use them for connection to solar.
And this involves that giant electrical box, right? That's kind of in the middle of the campus. This will involve making that happen.
Yeah, Topa Topa, we're putting in a new transformer, which is the green, transformer. You see the pad mounted transformer, and that is also going to eliminate the meter that's at the back playground of Topa Topa. So there's a service panel and a meter at the back of the campus that's going to be eliminated as part of this project.
So there will no longer be the giant thing right in the middle of campus. That's was one of the first things I noticed when I visited Topa for the first time. Great.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor, Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
It went out of order. Rebecca?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. That passes 5-0. Thank you, Adam and Ellen.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you in a few weeks.
Absolutely.
If not, have a good summer. I'm sure we'll see you.
They'll be here.
I just wanted to check in, Kevin. I know Ella has a CIF playoff game, and did you want to hang in with us, or are you gonna join the game?
I can hang in.
Okay, thank you. We're going to 6.5.1, which is the first reading of the board policies. There are 55 pages, and I'm going to just, as we normally do, kind of call for questions on the first section. So pages 1 through 10. Are there any questions?
I did have a question on, I just lost it, on page 9.
Question on 4. So can we do that first?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have something before 4? I think that's the first page. The middle of the page, it says under criteria for granting or deny, and it's page 4 of the 55, not actually. It says, the first paragraph, however, charter renewal should not be denied based on fiscal impact of the charter school on the district, or, and here's my question, a finding that the charter school is unlikely to serve the interests of the entire community. Haven't we discussed something about, charters, don't they have to? Do they mean the community or our school community? Because I kind of feel like that was part of the condition of approving a charter, was that it does the same thing that our other schools
So this is a CSBA recommendation that's based on the updated legislation. I do know that you can now deny based on the fiscal impact, but it has to be only if the district is in, has an unqualified budget. And so if you'd like, we can bring this particular section back for you and just ensure that it's in alignment, but this is the most recent CSBA.
And I was reading it as that the fiscal impact, you could, excuse me, the fiscal impact, you can deny a new charter, but you can't deny a renewal of a charter.
Right, that's true.
So I don't need it brought back, I just got that. And then page 6, anything, there's a timeline change from 60 days to, from 30 days under the timelines for board action. That's just a CSBA recommendation.
Yeah.
Michael, go ahead, page 9.
And unfortunately, I don't seem to have page numbers on mine, so you have to kind of call them out.
So page 9, student activity funds.
Yeah, 9 of 55 is the agenda page number. And yeah, it's about the student activity funds. It's really about toward the bottom of the page, the optional language that the district or superintendent or designee will ensure that everything is aligned with essentially Title IX, right? Equitable opportunities for male and female. And I'm curious, if we were to incorporate that language, do we know what we would be doing to do that?
I have the same question highlighted, Michael. I wasn't sure if it meant that we have to offer all sports to both genders. I'm unclear as to what it means that we're doing.
I think it's just that the district funds that are, or the funds that are spent from, our ASB and I don't know, I don't think Mr. Munson is here anymore. I don't know that we even spend ASB funds on athletics. I don't think that we do, but this is something that would be, once we get everything into AllaView, which is our financial management program, and we can easily see our athletic budget and our expenditures, this actually would be fairly easy for us to run, and I think would be useful information.
Yeah, my understanding, it doesn't mean if you have a football team with guys on it, you have to have a football team of girls. I think it just means that
we're equitably funding.
Right.
Yeah.
They talk about equivalent, not equal or identical.
Right.
So, and that's actually was where I was getting, like, the less specific it is, the harder it is to do the analysis. I was just wondering, if we were to approve this language, are you comfortable that we'll be able to do something to do that?
Yes.
Okay. But the foundational question is that we don't spend student body funds right now on athletics. Did I hear that?
I do not believe that we do. In our current budgeting, I know that there is a principal site discretionary fund, and a portion of that is allocated to athletics. So I believe that's where the entirety of our district athletic funds come from that aren't fundraised by outside organizations, Gridiron, or other contributions from other outside groups.
So they hold that money separately. It's not in the student and ASB account.
I don't believe so. That would be something that we can look into and get back to you.
Because that's actually my question. A little further up, it says that the superintendent, the principal or designee will review the use of the fund, monitor the budget and review the use of funds. And it's in red, shall monitor the budget and periodically review the organization's use of funds. In terms of athletics, I'm feeling like that's been a very difficult. I know that coaches are unsure of what their ASB fundings are, in terms of like, oh, they fundraised for uniforms or something. And I'm concerned about how people who are needing ASB funds are able to follow their funds. I know years ago, this was, 8 years ago, the music department at Matilaha created their own nonprofit because the same issue, they couldn't kind of keep track of those funds.
So this is an area that we're working very hard to reconcile, and Ms. Madden is here tonight. She's our new Assistant Superintendent of Business and Fiscal Services, and I know that she is, actually I totally messed that up, Business and Administrative Services, and she, I know, is taking copious notes, and this is something that we definitely are working on because it has been frustrating for a number of groups. And even actually for our sites to see their budgets and to see their expenditures and to track those things. And so as Chuck was mentioning, we know that we have some gaps in the district, and the ability to accurately track budget expenses from, Escape, which is our fiscal management software, to expenditures in the program is something that we need to work on. And boy, have we spent a lot of time working on that in the last couple of weeks. So I am confident that there will be improvements next school year for all programs, and that by the following year, we should have our systems really clear and dialed in.
My question was a little bit higher on that same page about the fundraising. And I'm just, the part in red, fundraising events that involve the sale of food and or beverages shall comply with applicable state and or federal nutrition standards. If the fundraising event involves the sale of non-compliant food and or beverages, it shall not take place from midnight until at least 1/2 hour after the end of the school day, or not be conducted on school premises. So essentially, no fundraising by selling non-compliant food during the school day is my understanding of what this is saying.
Yes.
Okay. I read it over several times and got completely flummoxed and wanted to make sure we were all on the same page.
Yes.
Thank you.
And just to remind everyone, red is the language that's new language that we have to add that is required. Anything in green is something that's optional for us. So if it's red, we didn't write it, and we can't necessarily reword it to be clearer.
And so I'm understanding that to be like no on-campus bake sales?
Right, during school hours.
During school hours. So by compliant, it means essentially it's going to have to go through our cafeteria.
It could be compliant, meaning in line with the health and nutrition standards. So for example, you couldn't have a candy and soda sale at lunch during the school day. But could you have a bake sale that complied with the nutritional standards? Potentially. We would have to have a discussion about what that looks like, because we serve muffins and cookies and things like that. And so that wouldn't necessarily be non-compliant, but it's things that we can't sell soda on campus. So you couldn't have a fundraiser by selling soda on campus.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, I think there was 2 years ago, the Student Advisory Council wanted to do like some kind of a food truck. And because of those guidelines, we couldn't do that during the day. We'd have to do it after school.
That's how we got our 8th grade trip to Sacramento when I was a kid. Suckers and Coke cans was all we sold.
Okay, pages 11 through 25. Any questions? And 26 through 40. Any other questions for the rest of the document? There weren't many changes in those. That was pretty straightforward. Okay, so do I have actually, the last few times we've done these, we've actually made a motion to not bring it back for a second reading and then approved it.
I thought that was just when I wasn't here. That was a joke.
Oh, wait, what? So does anyone want to bring this back for a second reading?
I'm happy to move approval tonight.
And I'm happy to second it.
Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. That passes 5-0. Approval of a rescheduling of June regular board meetings. Obviously, I think, is this updated or are we even making changes from this? We are moving our June 30th meeting to June 16th, at which point we will have the public hearing for the budget. But then we will need another meeting after that to actually formally approve the budget.
And that will be a special meeting and date to be announced.
Okay, so what we're voting on right now is just the moving of the June 30th agenda meeting to June 16th. So I will move to approve that. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
And Shelley?
Aye.
And Jane, aye. That passes 5-0. Boy, this is a record. 7:30. That's because Tiffany had that great party for everyone back in May, earlier in May. So we didn't have all our retirees here tonight, though I missed them. Future agenda items. I'm going to actually open this up. I did hear, let's see. Scheduled for July, scheduled for June 16th.
I will share that June 16th is going to make up for tonight's early release. So bring your sleeping bags.
And then I did hear from Kevin concerning the Parent Advisory Committee. So we would like to do that this summer. In case we decide to move forward with it, it's something we can get moving by the fall. So hopefully we can schedule that in July. If I don't know about July meetings, but that's another topic. Okay.
But it's worth, we counted and we are at our 23rd board meeting this year, which ends up being about twice a month. So,
and we're not even done yet.
We're not quite done yet. So
I think we used to do 11. Okay. I think that is the end of our meeting this evening. Thank you everyone for coming and have a nice final few days in the classroom and all the events, wonderful events that are happening, and we will see you on the 16th. Thank you.
bye everyone.
Thank you, David. Thank you.